King Charles did it again after torching Donald Trump before a joint session of Congress earlier in the day. King Charles roasted Donald Trump during a state dinner at the White House. He called Trump out for disturbing and destroying the international order as it relates to trade. King Charles also called out Trump for his attacks on NATO. Then he proceeded to mock Trump's real estate instincts. But he did it in a classic King Charles way, injecting humor to make the entire audience laugh. And I don't think Donald Trump fully realized that everybody was laughing at him, although he seems deeply jealous of the king in a way that suggests he wishes he were King Charles. And I think King Charles realizes that. So let me show you what went down. Here is what King Charles had to say during the state dinner at the White House on Ukraine and NATO. At a most critical time, in the darkest days of the 20th century, American leadership helped rebuild a shattered continent, playing a decisive role as a defender of freedom in Europe. We shall never forget that, not least as freedom is again under attack following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Today, our partnerships in NATO and AUKUS deepen our technological and military cooperation and ensure that, together, we can meet the challenges of an increasingly complex and contested world. Then King Charles talked about the challenges the world faces, including interruptions to the international order as it relates to trade. Across the ocean and from coast to coast, we have traded, innovated, and created together. We've stood together through the best and worst of times. However, the challenges we now face, from those who wish us harm across the world, to balancing the risks and opportunities of powerful new technologies, to the threats to the very international rules that have allowed us to trade and kept power in balance for 80 years. Those challenges encourage us to reaffirm tonight the basis on which our partnership has been built. Then King Charles talked about the renovation of the East Wing and compared it to what the British did in 1814. And if I may say so, it is a particular pleasure to be back in this wonderful building, the heart of your democracy. On this occasion, I cannot help noticing the readjustments to the East Wing, Mr. President. I'm sorry to say that we British, of course, made our own small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House in 1814. He was comparing Donald Trump to the British forces of 1814. Do you all get it? More jokes, more roasting of Donald Trump from King Charles. He essentially said, "Hey, Donald, I know you're saying that everyone would be speaking German if it wasn't for you, but guess what? You'd all be speaking French if it wasn't for us in the UK. Remember how long our relationship goes? Our French friends can feel equally at home with a glance at a map. Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say, if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French." And then you can see how awkward Donald Trump was right there. King Charles was presenting Trump with an original bell from a submarine, and the moment Trump heard "gift," he immediately stood up to take it, while King Charles looked at him like, "Dude, let me finish my speech." So tonight, Mr. President, I am delighted to present to you, as a personal gift, the original bell which hung on HMS Conqueror, your valiant namesake. May it stand as a testimony to our nation's shared history and shining future. And should you ever need to get hold of us, just give us a ring. Then King Charles gave his toast, and Donald Trump got all touchy with him. King Charles made a joke about the Boston Tea Party. What King Charles was doing was brilliant. After really laying into Trump on NATO, Ukraine, and international trade, he injected humor to let Trump drop his guard. And then, boom, hit him with the Boston Tea Party joke. Thank you, Mr. President and Mrs. Trump, for your splendid dinner this evening, which, may I say, is a very considerable improvement on the Boston Tea Party. So, whether your cup contains tea, wine, Scotch whiskey, bourbon, or even cola, let us raise our glasses and voices as we toast the past, the present, and the future of our two proud and allied nations. To the United States and the United Kingdom, God bless both our countries. Then Donald Trump tried to do his own humor, and it completely bombed. Trump said, "Windsor Castle, a structure so beautiful and so long that it never seemed to end. I looked down as a former real estate person, and it just went on forever. It was built by a gentleman named William the Conqueror in the year 1070. And I asked the king, was he a nice man, William the Conqueror? Yeah, he said. I tend to doubt it. When they call you William the Conqueror, generally speaking, you're not going to be too nice. But he must have been something, because Windsor Castle is nothing like I've ever seen." Nobody laughed. It was just weird. But then Donald Trump departed from his prepared remarks to claim that Iran has been militarily defeated, which it has not. We're doing a little Middle East work right now too, if you might know, and we're doing very well. We have militarily defeated that particular opponent, and we're never going to let that opponent have a nuclear weapon. They know that, very powerfully. Then he said, I want to congratulate Charles on having made a fantastic speech today at Congress. He got the Democrats to stand. I've never been able to do that. I couldn't believe it. They liked him more than they've ever liked any Republican or Democrat, actually. Then Trump interrupted his own speech to praise Rory McIlroy for winning a golf tournament. And speaking of unconquerable courage, where's Rory McIlroy? Can you stand up, Rory? That was unconquerable courage. I don't know if that helps the speech, but I had to interrupt because I watched that man win a tournament. That was a tough one. Congratulations. Very proud of you. All right. Now I'll get back to my speech. Then Donald Trump said that Britain's former colonies don't know how good they had it. Today, most of Britain's former colonies have no idea what they truly owe to this towering legacy of law, liberty, and British custom that they were given. We were given that, and it was a great, great gift. Then Trump raised his toast at the UK state dinner, but forgot to toast Melania. There were other very awkward moments as well. Before the dinner, Trump was outside the White House, openly admitting his jealousy of King Charles. He made a great speech. I was very jealous. And then, as Queen Camilla was shaking hands with Trump's cabinet members, Trump actually cut in front of her, physically pushing past the Queen to shake hands with his own cabinet, leaving her standing there looking confused, like, did he just cut me off? What are you doing? And just a reminder about King Charles's speech earlier in the day at the joint session of Congress. He told Trump directly, without saying his name, to stop using words recklessly. America's words carry weight and meaning, as they have since independence. The actions of this great nation matter even more. He received a standing ovation when he pointed out that the U.S. Supreme Court has cited the Magna Carta in over 160 cases since 1789, specifically on the issue of checks on executive power. Again, a direct shot at Trump. The U.S. Supreme Court Historical Society has calculated that Magna Carta is cited in at least 160 Supreme Court cases since 1789, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances. Then King Charles invoked NATO. In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, When NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder, through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and the moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people. So there were many powerful moments. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? And while all of that was going on, James Comey delivered this message after being indicted for the second time, this time over a photo of seashells on a North Carolina beach. They're back. This time, about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach taken a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. This is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And the good news is, we get closer every day to restoring those values. Keep the faith,